Hello class and welcome to this Ninja Kid NES walkthrough right here on Video Games 101 by way of Let's Play with the Brigands. From Bandai in 1986, Ninja Kid. Kind of an action platformer, which throws a few different looks and game modes at you, things like that. It's an interesting game. In terms of difficulty, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. This game is not easy to get through the 8 levels. And might cause you to write a threatening letter to the developer, in this case Bandai, I suppose, but I'm sure Fluff is going to have more information on that. So let's run the intro and get into this Ninja Kid NES walkthrough right here on Video Games 101. Alright, as we start a new game, you'll see that we're in this kind of open world map for the first level here. If we take a look at the controls for Ninja Kid, we can attack and jump with B and A, pause with start, select our secondary weapon with select, down the duck, and during the boss screens we can drop down and duck in the left corner to summon in an ally, a familiar if we have one. Blaze is going to talk more about that. And we can also drop platforms by holding down and pressing A, or jump. Pretty straightforward right there. Now as we take a look at the Briggs notes for Ninja Kid, Ninja Kid is made up of a number of mini levels, mini games, this being one of them, on the overall kind of world map. And the type of game that we get is determined by the type of building which we go into. We'll show the different designs after this, but know the difference between them, so maybe there's one you know that you need to avoid in the future, you're not as good at or something like that. Because you don't have to clear every level necessarily, but we'll talk more about that. 2, get it in and out as quickly as you can. That extends to both the minigame levels. As soon as that window opens, get out of there. And also, once you have the scroll, which is the whole point, we find one randomly in one of these minigame levels on each map. Once you have that, just go straight for the hut there, and you can move on. No need to spend more time in a world than you have to. 3, don't expect an ending. After the 8th level, which is as far as we're going to play, this game, it just repeats essentially. Gets a little bit harder, but there is no true ending, so there you go. And lastly, know the items. We're going to bring in Blaze in just a moment to cover those, but here now are the different designs of the different buildings, which lead us to the different level types. This is taken straight from the instruction manual. We have Dogfight, which we're doing right now. Poison Field, where you have to collect 10, and they kind of look like sperms. I guess they're spirits. Guerrilla Warfare, which is just kill 10 enemies. And then Blazing Inferno, which we'll talk about when we get to it. But right now we have the scroll, so let's throw it to Gary for our first boss beater.
It's Scary Gary's Boss Beaters. Alright, the first boss in Ninja Kid. Call in Pegasus if you've got him, and then just start firing. Your bullets, your knives rather, will go straight through Pegasus and into the boss. You'll take him down no problem.
Thank you very much, Gary. So yes, once we collect the scroll, which is, again, randomly in one of the 3 or 4 or 5, however many of those mini-level buildings show up on the map at the start of a new level. However many of those show up, it just has a random chance of showing up on any one of those, so that means you can clear the map after one mini-level. Sometimes you're going to have to fight through a whole lot more. It all depends, as we picked up a speed-up item there for a second. But, yeah, with a better idea of a rundown of the many, many different items when it comes to Ninja Kid, let's throw it to our resident items expert, Blaze.
Alright, let's talk about the items you will find on the various levels in Ninja Kid. First, we have the scroll. This will randomly appear on one of the stages, or I should say it appears on one of the stages randomly after you've gotten halfway to your objective. So once that counter gets to 5, no matter what you need to do, if that's the correct stage, then the scroll will pop down from the screen. You can't leave the screen until you have it, and you need this scroll to access the final boss on that particular level. So grab that, go to the hut, and you can take on the boss. Secondly, speaking of the boss, grab the flute, the whistle, These appear on the different stages when you get down to one last skull on that stage. You can use this by ducking in the left corner on the boss stage to call in one of the helpers, depending on how many whistles you have. Professor will talk more about that. Then some lesser seen items. You have the bird, which will show you the non-boss door after you beat a level. It always shows you 2 doors to get out. One will take you back to the overworld map, which is ideal. The other will take you to a mini-boss. So this one will tell you how to avoid that boss. And then we have these kind of eyeballs. They come in pairs. There's a hairy one and a hairless one. You want to go for the hairless one, as this gives you life. The hairy one takes one away.
There you go. Good luck, Blaze. Thank you very much. So we grabbed the scroll, so now we can take on the boss. We got a mini-boss first. It's always a 50-50 which door is going to lead you to the mini-boss and which one's straight out. Mini-bosses are always pretty straightforward. Just avoid the drop-down enemies and then shoot the guy in the eye. And now we're headed to the little hut up here and we're throwing it back to Gary.
Boss beater.
Alright, boss 2. Just jump and throw the flames and repeat. It shouldn't take long. Flames are very effective against this second boss.
Alright, thank you very much, Gary. So many things in this game are random. You see, we've already seen this overworld map. That's just random after the first one, so never know what you're going to get. So this is the guerrilla warfare, where we just need to kill 10 enemies. Best strategy on this map, whenever you get one of these, there's a couple, 2 or 3 different designs for each of the mini levels, so it's not always the same thing. Guerrilla warfare doesn't always look like this. We may have just lost a life, I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention, but let's look at the weapons now with Blaze.
Alright, now let's talk about the weapons we will find, the secondary weapons in Ninja Kid. First, the feather. The best thing about the feather is when you pick it up, it grants you 15 seconds of invincibility. Just be careful when your flickering of your character starts to change, as that's how you know it's starting to wear off. Then you have the ninja stars, which is slightly more powerful than your knife. Acts very much the same way. It can be good on some of the bosses. Gary will talk about that. Then we have the boomerang, which unaccountably does the same thing as the feather, and then it gives you 15 seconds of invincibility. But other than that, you can use it just like the feather to fly around the screen, and it's not that effective in my experience. It's just about that 15 seconds of invincibility when you first pick it up. And then the flames. Don't use these on the fire bosses, obviously, but they can be very effective in the right circumstances. Gary will talk more about that.
Alright, good luck, Blaze. Thank you very much. I should have skipped that first temple or dungeon or whatever you want to call it, and just prioritized the ones that are actually blocking the path to the hut, if you get what I'm saying. So, just hit that one that's not mandatory by way of the design of, the layout to the hut. Save that one for last in case we haven't found the scroll by then, but anyway, still looking for that scroll. Let's throw it back to Blaze to talk about the familiars that help us during the boss battles.
Alright, lastly, let's talk about the helper friends, which you can call in with your flute. First, you have the Pegasus, which provides you basically a Pegasus shield on the ground. It's got wings, but it protects us on the ground. I guess that's alright considering Ninja Kid can't fly, so use this as a shield. Your shots will still go through. Once that's gone, if you have it, you can call in the Eagle, which freezes the boss from moving. Note that they can still shoot at you, so keep that in mind. It just keeps them in one spot, which is a big help. And last but not least, if you have enough scrolls and you're on it, you can use the Witch. Call in the Witch, which attacks the boss with magic sand. But there you go, the helpers of Ninja Kid.
Thank you very much, Blaze. So yeah, they're, I guess they're spirits, ghosts, or something like that. It's just my mind. Alright, so there you go, there's our scroll. And we have at least one helper available to us, Pegasus for the boss. Another one will drop down, we can grab that. And we just need one last. There we go, and just whichever one's closer at this point. And that worked out. Alright. Next boss, back to Gary.
Boss beaters.
Boss 3, call in Pegasus and Eagle if possible. And you want to jump and fire, and you want to make sure to only transition from one side to the next, immediately following an attack from the boss, because they can only have one projectile on the screen at once. So use that to get around as necessary. Don't get trapped in a corner. That's how you take down the third boss.
Good luck, Gary, and we got to use our eagle this time. That worked out. Nice. Big help, as long as it's on the screen. That boss is not going to be moving. They will be shooting, but they will not be moving. Alright, so we got a new design here, as we're on the fourth. That's what that number next to the M suggests. As we go to a guerrilla warfare, just take your pick of which level you want to do first when none of them are blocking the route to the hut. Sometimes you get lucky, you get out of here quick and early. You find that scroll, in the first mini level that you go to. Sometimes you have to clear out the entire thing before you find it, so everything random in this game except the order of the bosses themselves. Everything else completely random, so while we're looking for the scroll, let's throw it to Fluff to get our first Fluff fact about Ninja Kid.
Ninja Kid for the NES is another instance of where the Japanese and American versions were different. The main difference is that the Japanese version was based on the Japanese manga series GeGeGe no Kitarō. When the game was going to be released in America, they scrapped all references to the manga and renamed the game to a generic Ninja Kid. There was a sequel which came out, but just like with the similarly named Ninja Boy series, it veered more into the RPG genre.
Alright, thank you very much, Fluff. So this is probably my least favorite style of the mini levels right here, is leading this, there's the scroll. The scroll will just keep looping, by the way. You don't have to worry about missing the scroll. You can't leave the level the scroll appears on until you get the scroll, so no hurry there, but we'll have at least one helper for the boss. Yeah, you have to guide this flame into lighting all of the candles, and it's a lot easier than or it's a lot harder than it sounds, I should say. So we're gonna ignore that last one and go straight for the boss here, and throw it to Gary for the fourth boss.
Boss beaters.
Alright, the fourth boss, calling Pegasus. Fire away and just jump when you take him down so you don't get hit by that last cheap attack.
A lot of things about this game remind me of, not just visually, but I think I'm hearing one of the sound effects from Mickey Mousecapade, for one, which that's not that big of a deal, but some of the visuals kind of remind me of Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu. But yeah, every time we get that scroll, it's definitely the sound of like getting clear all the enemies off the screen, or you just like kill the bad guy, or found a secret item in Mickey Mousecapade. It's the exact same sound effect. And we're already for the next boss. Got lucky this time. Gary.
Boss beaters.
Boss 5, calling Pegasus and fire away just like the first one.
Thank you very much, Gary. Just using that Pegasus as a shield right there. Yeah, Pegasus is enough when it comes to the helpers. You don't need to keep looking for secondary flutes and everything like that. Don't waste your time, as we have another one of these stages here. It's just annoying trying to get that flame to go where you want it to, essentially. You gotta mind the pits, too. The invincibility's nice, as they ratchet up more difficult enemies as the game goes, but let's go back to Fluff and get another Fluff fact about this game.
Ninja Kid was developed by Tose, who were behind a number of other notable NES titles. These include wrestling title Muscle, Mappy Land, Chubby Cherub, the Basis Loaded series, and many more. They're still active today, having made hundreds of titles for virtually every popular console of the last 4 decades. According to their Wikipedia page, and I quote, Tose has developed or co-developed over 1,000 games since the company's inception in 1979, but is virtually never credited in the games themselves. We're always behind the scenes, said Masa Agarita, Vice President of Tose's U.S. division. Our policy is not to have a vision. Instead, we follow our customers' visions. Most of the time, we refuse to put our name on the games, not even staff names. As such, Tose has gained a reputation for being a ghost developer. Pretty crazy when you look at the huge selection of games they've done, though admittedly a lot of these games are just those which are believed or assumed to have been developed by this company, as it's been so hard to verify credits, particularly for games in the 80s.
Huh. Now my conspiracy theory, muscle, alarm, I don't know, whatever mechanism, whatever you want to call it, is kind of twitching and or going off because, like, I'm thinking now about, well, we got a boss. I'll talk on the other side. Gary?
Boss beaters.
Alright, the 6th boss, very effective to use ninja stars against him. I like to use Pegasus once again, but just launch those ninja stars and take him down.
Very effective. Thank you very much. Yeah, it looked like a pretzel. Like a spicy buffalo-flavored pretzel wheel or something. Extra spicy with the flames going around. Not sure the consumer board would get behind that. But anyway, we just have this one block on our path, so we'll prioritize that. But yeah, just the sound effect from Mickey Mousecapade and the visuals from, this is the new one, from Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu. Both Hudson Soft games, I think, now that I think about it. Or were they, right? That's what I'm saying. That's the conspiracy theory going off in my head. Love those feathers. Love getting a scroll on the first level we go to as well. Nice. Oh, there's the bird to tell us which way is the right way to get out of here. Since I can't reach that one, I'm going to say this is the right way. And it worked out. It's not like they're being mean and they're like, oh, you had to go to the one that was harder to get to. It really is just random. Gary?
Boss beaters.
Alright, the 7th boss. Call in Pegasus, jump and fire ninja stars, and be ready and give yourself room because there's that very short-lived but very quick 2nd phase, so make sure you got some distance between you and the boss. Fire those stars, take him down.
Some of the bosses remind me of a mystery 3rd game that I can't quite think of. If you're seeing anything else that overlaps with any games you've seen before, then definitely leave a comment. It's very interesting, to say the least, but anyway, we're already on the final level. As we enjoy some temporary invincibility here. This has gone by a lot faster than I anticipated, actually. And there we go. Even faster still. And we're getting out of here. Nice. Alright. Gary, let's finish strong. I don't think the last boss is all that more difficult than anyone else, but yeah. Gary, who we got?
Boss beaters.
Alright, final boss. Fire away. Just jump when you defeat him. Not that difficult considering he's the final boss. The game will keep going, but congratulations. For all intents and purposes, you have beaten Ninja Kid. Congratulations.
Alright, thank you very much, Gary. Yeah, as I said, no ending. At this point, we can actually just start speeding this thing up. Yeah, there really is no ending. Would it have killed them? Just put in like a, you did great, but, keep going or something like that? I don't know. Big thanks to all my TAs today, though, for detangling, demystifying the mystery that is Ninja Kid. Because, yeah, not everything's all that obvious when you first pick up this game as to what you're meant to do and whatnot. But anyway, if you haven't already done so, I ask that you please consider subscribing to enroll in this class. We do one of these classes every single week. Love to have you enrolled. Leave a like on this video if you don't mind. It really does help us out. And yeah, leave a comment. Did this trigger any, hey, I've seen that before alarms? Like this right here, just put this up. This part, this another light the candle type stage, this is straight out of Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu. That's crazy. But I digress. Thanks for attending this class. We'll see you next week in the same spot for next week's class. Hope to see you then. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment on this video, and click subscribe if you haven't already, as this seriously helps me to keep making great content for you. And check the description of this video to see what song is playing right now.
We made